Does lack of dress codes in school take away from the focus of students? Yes, I believe the lack of dress codes in school does take away from the focus of students because worrying about the latest trends distracts the students. When I went to school in Jamaica, we had to wear uniforms. Uniforms allowed us to focus on our academics, focus on our books, and to worry less about what other people were wearing. If other students, if some people can't afford it, that takes a worry off their parents, and that money could go to books instead of new shoes, new clothes, and things of the sort.
Well, the lack of dress code, it doesn't take away the focus from the students. I think it actually places a focus on education and educating the students, which is, the primary reason for, going to school. As far as limiting expression, I think there are various other ways that kids or students can express themselves through extracurricular activities. You got sports, you have drama clubs and things of that nature, which people or students are free to express themselves. So no, the dress code doesn't limit students and their expression, the freedom of expression.
I think that it actually keeps the students focused. It also eliminates financial burdens, where you don't have to purchase, different outfits for every other day. It also eliminates um, from students making fun of other students depending on what they're wearing because everyone is wearing the same thing. It allows students to just focus on their academics and not worry about, I don't know, clothing attire.
I think uniforms have been implemented in school systems. I think uniforms have been implemented in school systems so that students can all wear one outfit and they don't feel that other students have nicer clothes because they have more money, and that they don't know you don't have to differentiate between each other because of that, and you're all based off of the same. You all start on the same ground.
I think one of the reasons schools probably use uniforms is to create some kind of structure. It's nice to have all the student body, I guess, in one attire. And another reason would be to eliminate kind of the social stratification with some kids having the financial means to have expensive wardrobes versus others who can't afford it.
Does dress codes limit the freedom of expression of students in schools? I really don't think that our freedom of expression was really affected by what they made us wear. In my high school, we had to wear the same white polo shirt and khaki pants every day, and if it was cold, you can wear one gray sweater, and the only freedom of expression we had was what we wore on our shoes. So everyone had really different shoes and were creative about that. But I think it is positive in a way that you don't focus on what other people are wearing, and when you wake up in the morning, you don't have to decide what you're wearing. And I know that in my school there was a lot of conflicts about what people would wear and stuff, and that's probably the reason why they implemented school uniforms. But it really wasn't a big deal, and I ended up changing schools, so I only had uniforms for 1 year, so it didn't really bother me too much.
What financial benefits, if any, are there in systems that implement uniforms versus where uniforms aren't necessary? In school systems where uniforms are worn, parents don't have to worry about always buying their kids new things, the latest trends, because they already have their uniform to wear to school every day. Well, I used to attend the Academy of Mount St. Ursula, which is a Catholic school, and we wore uniform. Even with the uniform, we were still able to personalize our own uniform with the shoes we wore, or the jewelry, or the accessories. And we didn't always have to beg our parents for new clothes to wear to school. In public schools, where kids have to constantly compete with one another for what to wear and the latest jeans and what's in style and the new Jordans that come out every week, Catholic schools don't have that. So it's better for parents financially. And for us Catholic school kids, since they don't have to pay for clothes, they're able to buy us cars as we gradually do the little driving programs and stuff that the school offers. So our money goes towards other things.
What is the number one con in wearing uniforms in school? Well, I went to a public/private school. It was a magnet school where you had to be either an international baccalaureate student in the international studies program or a band member in the performing arts program or a dance student. So at the time when I went to school, we didn't have a dress code. Um, I thought it was good and sufficient because it allowed everybody to express who they were as an individual and just let people have freedom instead of having strict control over students and causing everybody to be mad over something as simple as wearing a school uniform. Even though I say it's simple, I still don't agree with it. Um, Wearing school uniforms, it doesn't, like I said before, it doesn't allow you to be an individual. It makes you look like everybody else. But at the same time, in wearing school uniforms, you can be different depending on what you wear. You might have to wear the same colors, but you can still switch it up. And you could wear a different brand of khakis or a different kind of khakis that look a certain way. And if your top has to be blue, you can wear a different color blue shirt or whatever. But you still somehow stay the same. Now, after I left high school, they implemented a dress code with that they said was uniform, but at the same time it wasn't. Um, what they did was the dress code was dress as if you were on the golf course, which is not that bad. It's just basically some nice looking slacks, a good looking pair of shoes, and basically a collar shirt. Just look presentable. At the same time, a lot of parents were happy, but a lot of students weren't because they felt like it doesn't allow them to express themselves. Even though it does save the parents money, it's really not about the parents in high school. It really never is. It's about the students. They're the one getting the education, so they should be forced to feel the way that they want to feel, so they can feel comfortable in an environment, so they can learn the way that they should want.
While when I was in high school, I had to wear uniforms. So it's like even though I spoke on how bad it could be, it's like the uniform can go a good way because uniforms are basically uh, a form of clothing. So certain students can just, depending on how strict the dress code of the uniform is, you can be able to build your own sense of creativity. So, for instance, if my school colors are maybe yellow and burgundy, and we get a yellow shirt, and then we get a burgundy shirt, we could switch it up sometimes. Or if we get different color slacks, we could switch it up with different color shoes. Or I could use the option of the shoes to basically show who I am. So if I'm basically into maybe rodeos and all those type of things, maybe I'll put on some spurs with my uniform. Um, and even you could just with the uniform, is a ton of things that sometimes you can do that it can go bad ways. It's just about how strict it basically goes on the student, because the stricter the uniform dress code is, the harder it is to express yourself. So really it just needs to be sort of like a looseness or slackness on the whole thing about the uniforms. Well, I know for myself in LaSalle Academy, I had to wear a uniform, and I basically just used the different varieties of articles of clothing I could have worn to basically show who I was and basically what I stand for. A lot of times that I'm noticing many of our students in high school, in the Catholic school system and private school system, where you have to wear uniforms, they're basically showing their sense of creativity and showing who they are by the way they wear their uniforms. It's not just about what you wear, it's also about how you're wearing it. So many times, I know for myself, I always managed to, my slacks were always pressed, never creased. My shirts were well ironed, never wrinkled. My ties were always with the best knots, and I always wore a blazer. I tried to never really wear the school vest, because the school vest was something that they made the juniors, sophomores, and freshmen wear. So I'm basically, when I became a senior, I took advantage of that option and just always wore my blazer to separate me from the other sets of students in the classroom.